Dean Phillips, a former businessman turned Democratic member of the United States House of Representatives, shares his journey from the business world to the political arena. He delves into his past experiences, particularly his role in the creation of the luxury vodka brand, Badier. Phillips describes how Badier was a disruptive force in the vodka industry, challenging the dominance of big players by introducing a product that was both higher priced and more luxurious. He recounts the competitive dynamics between Badier and established brands like Grey Goose, underscoring the difficulties faced when disrupting a market with entrenched competitors. Drawing parallels between the cutthroat nature of the business world and the political landscape, Phillips emphasizes the importance of principles and integrity in both domains. He believes that whether in business or politics, the ultimate goal should be to leave a positive impact on communities and to prioritize public service over personal gain. His experiences in business have taught him the value of competition and innovation, lessons he carries into his political career. Phillips provides a candid look at the corruption he perceives within the political system, especially in the United States Congress. He criticizes the excessive amount of time legislators spend on fundraising, which he argues takes away from their primary responsibilities of governance. The influence of money in politics, according to Phillips, has a corrosive effect on decision-making and undermines the representation of the average citizen. Navigating the political landscape comes with its own set of challenges, as Phillips points out. He speaks of the pressure to conform to the status quo and the scarcity of genuine collaboration and debate among lawmakers. To counteract the influence of the wealthy and well-connected in Washington, Phillips calls for a change in the reward system within politics and a re-empowerment of voters. With an eye on the future, Phillips expresses his intention to run for president of the United States. He argues that the country is in need of a new generation of leadership that breaks away from the traditional political establishment. Phillips sees the current political climate as an existential threat and stresses the urgency of addressing the nation's pressing issues. Looking ahead to the 2024 presidential election, Phillips shares his concerns about the possibility of a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. He believes that the country needs an alternative candidate who can represent a new generation of leadership and tackle the challenges that lie ahead. Reflecting on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s recent trajectory, Phillips acknowledges his efforts to reach a broader audience through non-traditional platforms. He underscores the importance of adapting to new communication channels and engaging with the public where they are most active. Phillips does not shy away from discussing the issues he sees within his own party. He expresses frustration with the Democratic Party's lack of diversity in political perspectives and the tendency to favor certain candidates over others. He calls for a more inclusive approach that allows voices like those of RFK and Marianne Williamson to be heard and considered. Bipartisanship is a key theme in Phillips' narrative. He shares his experiences as the second most bipartisan member of Congress and the value he finds in building relationships with colleagues from both sides of the aisle. For Phillips, open dialogue and mutual respect are essential ingredients for effective governance. Phillips speaks to the need for empathy and understanding in politics. He discusses the structural pathologies within the Democratic Party, such as the focus on short-term emotional comfort over long-term solutions. He advocates for evidence-based decision-making and addressing issues like toxic compassion and purity spirals within the party. The prevalence of stereotyping and identity politics within the Democratic Party is a concern for Phillips. He argues for a focus on promoting independence and meritocracy rather than categorizing individuals based on their identities. He believes in the importance of creating spaces for people to get to know each other and engage in meaningful dialogue rather than relying on divisive tactics. Phillips encourages individuals to broaden their perspectives and engage with people who hold different viewpoints. He stresses the value of open-mindedness and leading with decency in political discourse. By sharing his own experiences of learning from others, Phillips highlights the importance of humility and the willingness to challenge one's own beliefs. In conclusion, Dean Phillips advocates for a more inclusive, open-minded, and principled approach in both business and politics. He calls for a departure from traditional political establishments and the embrace of a new generation of leadership that prioritizes public service, integrity, and effective governance. Through his insights and experiences, Phillips underscores the urgency of reforming the political system to better serve the needs of the country and its citizens.